Hello students, I am PPY and you are watching your channel PPY tutorial. And actually you are not watching, you are learning. Do not forget, we are just like in the class. I am your teacher and you are a student. You have to pay proper attention to understand the topic. Okay, and so if you remember, then last times we had discussed about the mechanism of metallic conduction, and next we have to move towards the resistance. So resistance, our topic, today's first topic is resistance. I think you all are familiar with this term. Resistance means opposition, and so something oppose the flow of charge when it moves through the conductor or insulator or anything else. So that opposition, that property of material to oppose the flow of charge through itself, that property of material is called the resistance. It is just like a friction. When one object moves over the surface of another object, friction comes in the play and opposes the motion. Likewise, when current passes, when charge passes through the conductor, something comes, some opposition comes, and that opposition is known as the resistance. And every object have some resistance. Some have more, some may have less resistance. If less resistance, we call that as the conductor, and very high resistance we call the insulator. If resistance lie between conductor and insulator, then that is called the semiconductor. So actually resistance is also one of the basic property of material. If there is no resistance, then we call that material a superconductor. We will also discuss that topics also in detail. But for the time being, every object have some resistance, I told you. And so you may think, do I have resistance? Yes, your body have also resistance. Do you know what is the value of resistance in of your body? Yes, guess it. Are you guessing? Yeah. Okay. I think it is about 50 kilo ohm. Some people may have a little less or more, but near about 50 kilo ohm we have resistance. So when we touch the battery for small voltage potential difference, then we do not get electric shock because current becomes too less to harm us. But when we touch the high potential difference like 200, 300 volt or AC line up to 20 volt, we get electric shock because in those cases what happens, there is a appreciable current passing through your body and you get the electric shock. So I was telling that every object have resistance. That property which opposes the flow of charge through it is called the resistance. So what should be the definition? Resistance, definition of resistance is, for the conductor I am defining, the property of conductor to oppose the flow of charge itself is called its resistance. So that property of material which opposes the flow of charge through itself is called its resistance. And so this is the definition of resistance and its unit. We are soon going to see that its unit is ohm, right? And we give this symbol for resistance. Now, what is the cause of resistance? You may think, what caused the resistance? Why we do have resistance and why conductors have some resistance? So it's the same explanation we have given for the mechanism of the metallic conduction. So I told you last time, when free electron moves through the conductor, what happens? These electrons rushes from positive pole of the battery. If I connect this side positive and this side negative, from positive pole, electron moves from negative pole, and so these electrons, when gets accelerated by electric field, they collide with each other, and when they collide each other, they loses its energy. And when it loses its energy, its velocity decreases. Means that is opposing the flow of charge. If there is no collision, then electrons could move very fast. And so that opposition due to collision. So collision is two types. I told you, one collision due to electron itself, and another with the ions or at the lattice side. So anyhow they collide each other, and that collision loses the energy, and that loss of energy is the resistance. So cause of the resistance is, what should be the cause? The cause of the resistance is the collisions of free electrons when they move through conductor after application of electric field across two ends of conductor with each other and ions which loses their energy is cause of resistance. So I combined so many sentences in a single sentence. So if you have to write what is the cause of resistance, then you can write this. Okay, and now there is what are the factors on which resistance depends. Okay, and so factors affecting resistance. So what could be the possible factors? Are you thinking now? Think for a while, and if you want to copy, then you can pause. Okay, and so we find that resistance is noted by R, and resistance of the conductor is directly proportional to length. What does it mean? If there is more length of conductor, then resistance will be more, there will be more loss of energy. Okay, because there is more chance of getting collisions. Short wire, less collision; long wire, more collision. So more collision means more resistance. It means resistance of conductor is directly proportional to length. So whenever you have to use the wire, choose the short wire for less resistance and more current. Okay, and so resistance is directly proportional to length. I told one of the factor. Next is resistance is inversely proportional to area of cross section. What does it mean? If you have thick wire, so you see this, both wire are of same size, I mean same length, and one is thick. See this is the thicker one, this is the thinner one, and so which will have the more resistance? Here is the area of cross section of this wire is more, and area of cross section of this wire is less. So area of cross section is more, then resistance will be less. Again you can think why it happens so. Yet there is more area of cross section, there is more space to move the charge carrier. So charge carrier are getting plenty of spaces to move through this. So area of cross section more, there is less possibility of collision. And so what happens? Resistance is inversely proportional to area of cross section. This is the second factor. Okay, and so there are the two factors. One is the what? Resistance is directly proportional to length, other is inversely proportional area. If you want to combine, then combining above two statements means what can we get? We get we get resistance is directly proportional to length, inversely proportional, you can write in a place. And you know that sir, if you change proportional sign to equality sign, we do have some constant. This time I am giving name to the constant is rho. So rho L upon A. And here we call that where rho is proportionality constant, known as resistivity, whose value depends on the nature of conductor. So this is the things. Resistance equal to what I get? R equals to rho L upon A. Means three factors now we got. One is the rho. Rho depends on the nature. Nature depends what type of the conductor do you have. I mean that if you have the silver, then we have another. If we have iron, we have another rho. But one type of metal have fixed value of resistivity. Okay. And so these are the factors. And let me write. It is experimentally found that the resistance of the conductor is directly proportional to its length L. That is we can write this one statement, and we can write second, and the resistance of the conductor is inversely proportional to area of cross section. We give A, and that is this, and then you write combining above two statements, we get this. So this is the resistance of the conductor. This is also very important relation. You have to remember several times we are going to use. R equals to rho L by A. Rho is resistivity, and whose value depends on the nature of the conductor. Okay, and so this was the resistance. Now let me clear this. Okay, and so now sometimes we have to define the resistivity. But to define the resistivity, we can't tell the resistivity a proportionality constant. So we have to define it in proper manner. So if we suppose length of the conductor which we have taken as that's 1 meter, and area of cross section, equals to 1 meter square. What do I mean? You understood? That's if you want to get the definition of resistivity, then we take the length of conductor 1 meter. Means I am taking one wire whose length is 1 meter. And area of cross section, of course, we are taking formula cross section, that's area equals to 1 meter square. Now let's see what is the resistance. So if I put this value here, then I get R equals to rho, L is 1, and that's also 1 gone, and so 1, no problem, you multiply, then R equals to rho. Means what you got? In that case, resistance equals to resistivity. So if you have to define resistivity, then what can you take? Resistivity is that resistance when length is 1 meter and area of cross section is 1 meter square. So now you have proper definition of resistivity. And so resistivity rho is defined as the resistance of conductor. Resistivity rho of a material of wide is defined as the resistance of conductor of material of length 1 meter and area of cross section 1 meter square. So this would be your proper definition of resistivity. And so resistivity you know, and resistivity I told you depends on the nature of conductor. So different resistivity. Its order is 10 to the power minus 8 for the conductors. So I think you got this resistivity, and its unit is, what should be its unit? You can get from here. So rho equals to what you get? Rho equals to R A upon L. So rho equals to R A upon A. Rho is resistance, unit is ohm, area unit meter square, and down also 1 meter. So its A unit is ohm meter. So whenever we have to write the unit of resistivity, you will tell the ohm meter. Okay, and so this one after knowing resistivity, we have to some more terms to define. So if you want to copy, then you want to make note, then go on copying, right? Now I am going to rub. Okay, and now after knowing resistance, we have one term, conductance. I write C, conductance. So conductance is reciprocal of resistance. So conductance is defined as a 1 upon R. So it is very simple. It is defined as the reciprocal of resistance. That is, if C is conductance and R is resistance of the wire, then we have C equals to 1 by R. And so this is the definition of conductance. Now you want to know what should be its unit. Its unit is 1 upon ohm. 1 upon ohm, that is sometimes some people write like this. See, so very interesting. I am writing from this side. Ohm, opposite is this mho. For ohm or mho, and this is also known as the Siemen. S-I-E-M-A-N, Siemen. So the unit of conductance is 1 by ohm. We can tell mho or Siemen. Likewise, friend, we have to define the conductivity. Resistivity, that's reciprocal of resistivity is equal to conductivity. And so next term is conductivity. And conductivity, I give the symbol, that's sigma. And so it is defined as a reciprocal. Sigma is reciprocal of rho, and the sigma is reciprocal of resistivity. And so we can define it is defined as the reciprocal of resistivity. That is, if sigma is conductivity, Dt, and rho is resistivity of material of conductor, then we have sigma equal to 1 upon rho. And you know the value, you know the unit of ohm is Simon, and so its unit, you know the unit of rho is ohm meter. Its unit is ohm meter is unit of resistivity, and so it will be per ohm and per meter. So that is, you can tell the per ohm and per meter, and so this will be the units of the conductivity. Sometimes short question comes and you can calculate using this formula. And so these are some small topics which we have to cover before the Ohm's law. So are you ready for Ohm's law? Let me rub this. You can copy this. And so next topic is Ohm's law, but before that I have to fill the marker. Okay, and so next topic is Ohm's law. This is very important. BBI. Let me write BBI. Okay, very important, because this usually comes in your exam, and you have already heard this topic in class 9 only. In class 9 also you have learned this, but at that time in that level there is not good concept. Okay, so this is, I tell that this Ohm's law is very important relation. Let's see why I call this very important relation. Most of the numerical problems in DC circuits can be solved by using this Ohm's law, and this Ohm's law is basic tools for the students. In higher level you do have some other tools by which can be used instead of the Ohm's law, but up to your level there are two tools. One is the Ohm's law, other is Kirchhoff's law. So, and Kirchhoff's law is also based on the Ohm's law only. If you do not understand Ohm's law, then you can't understand the Kirchhoff's law also. So pay attention. Yes, up to now you are paying, so now also continue paying your attention. Okay, and so suppose this is the conductor which has some resistance R. I connect one battery over here. So what happens? You all know current starts from the positive pole and goes like this. So if this battery has potential difference B, then its 2 ends of this conductor also getting the potential difference of B volt. So this is a B, and there is a current. I give the symbol I. So Ohm simply told that current, how much current flowing through the conductor. So current flowing through the conductor is directly proportional to potential difference across its 2 ends. That is a statement of Ohm's law. But there is some condition. Condition means there is constant physical condition. Constant physical condition means temperature should not be varied during the experiment when you are measuring current and voltage. Temperature should be constant. There should be constant mechanical strain. You are not pulling the wire and sometimes pulling and sometimes that's contracting this. Mean that strain should be constant like other conditions. And so these physical conditions are constant. At that time current flowing through the conductor is directly proportional to potential difference. That means we can tell also potential difference is proportional to I. It's just like the same thing. Which comes first? Potential difference or current? Current cause potential difference cause current. So which comes first? This is just like the N and A. Which comes first? Okay, so I can tell here B is proportional to I. And you all are familiar that when this proportional sign is changed into the equality sign, we do have some constant. That constant we call here R, I. And so if I rearrange B equals to IR, that's why I call B for very, I for important, and R for relation. So by this trick you can remember very important relation. What is Ohm's law? That is
very important relation.
Okay, so this is the Ohm's law, mathematical form of Ohm's law. One trick I had seen somewhere that You make a circle, write here V and divide this in two parts, write here I and R. If you want to find the V, then cover this V, it comes in the long side, so V equal to IR. And if you want to find the I, then cover it, you get V upon R, so I equal to V by R. If you want to find the R, then it becomes V upon I. So it's just like the key trick, and you can remember that also. Which one you are going to calculate. Okay. And so this was the Ohm's law. Now I have to write the statement. So what is a statement? A statement. What I told you, do not forget, under constant physical condition. Under constant physical conditions like temperature, strain, etc. The current flowing through the conductor is directly proportional to potential difference established across its two ends. That is you can explain this. That is, if I be the current through the conductor when source of potential difference D is connected across its two ends, then we come here, I is proportional to I is proportional to V, that is V is proportional to I, and all this, therefore we get V equals to IR. Okay, and so I got this is very important lesson, you can keep in mind, don't write here. Okay, this is mathematical forms of Ohm's law. Okay, I think it is clear up here, and I have to write here where R is proportionality constant, known as resistance. And here constant physical condition means that resistance of the wire should be constant. Then only B is proportional to I. Okay, and so it is clear to you. And now let's see some example before doing the experimental verification of Ohm's law. And so if you have to write Ohm's law, then you can write. Okay. Okay, see this example, and you try to apply and answer whenever I ask you. Okay, and so see this, there is one resistance, there is another resistance. One resistance is 1 ohm, for simplicity I am taking this 2 ohm, and there is one battery connected, and this gives the current. The current through this is suppose 2 ampere. Your question is, what is the voltage across this resistance of 1 ohm, and what is voltage across this, and what is the voltage of this source? And this is your question. So I told you that's Ohm's law. What is Ohm's law? Very important lesson. So for this I will write this A, B to write. Okay, voltage from A to B, VAB, that I told the V1, and V1 equals to, I told V equals to IR. So current is given here, so we can tell it 2, and resistance is 1 ohm, so it becomes the current is here 2, and resistance, okay, 2 on the 2 volt.
2
So
volt.
voltage across R1 is simply 2 volt. And B2 is, again I have to B, from B to C I have to write. So here is IR, I is 2 and R is also 2. So this becomes the 2 to the 4 volt. So voltage across AB is 2 volt, voltage across BC, that's R2, have the 4 volt. So total voltage, so there is no any other voltage drop. So total voltage of the source should be equals to sum of these two. So V1 plus V2, that is a 2 plus 4, that is equals to
6 volt.
So Ohm's law can be used in this way, and same circuit you can use the Ohm's law as many times as you want. What should you have to keep in the mind? The thing is, you should know the potential difference across its two ends, then you can find the current. If current is known, then we can find the potential difference across the resistor, right, or any conductor. So this I simply explain to explain the concept. I choose this example. Okay, now next topics we have. So many problems we will do after finishing this topic separate. We are going to discuss in this video series even the short question also, and some very important short question and very important numerical problem, and those numerical problems we will solve at the last after finishing this chapter. And also one or two video I will shoot for your competition exam. That is going to help you. So I told you in the beginning, if you are watching this video series, then you should not search anywhere on YouTube to get our contents. You will get the complete. But I need your support, and for that reason I told you share this to your friend. That was your homework. I think you must have shared this, and that's why nowadays more people are getting information about this series, and they are getting benefited. Okay, and so next topic is our experimental verification of Ohm's law. Sometimes this question also comes in your exam. That's a state Ohm's law and verify it experimentally. And so if this is the question, then we need circuit diagram, and for that I need one resistance. Okay, I choose one resistance. I need something which measures the current, that is the ammeter. I connected ammeter, and then I need variable battery. Variable battery I can choose like this also to give the symbol. That's if I give this variable, then I can change the value. I can change the voltage, and I can take this also. And some writer and some people choose using the rheostat. They use the rheostat to vary them, and then they connect the battery. And so when you connect them battery, you can vary the resistance, and then we connect one voltmeter here. And so when we move this rheostat, then what happens? After moving the resistance, that's current in this ammeter varies, and accordingly their voltage also varies, and we will notice. So here is I am choosing voltage as the independent variable, and current is dependent variable. Means we are going to measure voltage, we are fixing the value of voltage, and we are going to note the current, and finally we will draw the graph. So finally we will draw the graph. When we draw the graph, then we get some shape here. So to do the experiment we need observation table. So observation table, there is voltage. I told you voltage we are setting ourselves only, and we are going to note the current over here. And so like this, there will be several values of voltage. You start with the 0, 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, likewise 1 volt, okay, and 1, 1.2, 1.2, and so on. So this value you will set yourself after seeing this voltmeter. You see the voltmeter and you are checking that's what is the value, and that value must be in the beginning, it's beginning 0, and then corresponding current you are going to note here. So suppose I just took these values and I am not doing its own experiment, I am just hypothetical experiment. So suppose when voltage is 0, and of course you will get the current 0. No voltage, then from where current comes, you can think that. Okay, then you can get here that's 1 milliampere, then you get 2 milliampere, 3 milliampere, likewise 4 milliampere, and so on. You can get the value. I mean that you set the voltage and you note down the current. So you will get a set of data. After getting this data, you can easily draw the graph. So if you can easily draw graph, then what you will find? This looks like a straight line passing through origin. Your graph will comes like this. And so this graph shows that if any quantity is directly proportional, then graph always comes like this. Even the directly proportional quantities like one short cost 1500 rupees in two short cost 3000, 3, 4500, and 1, 2, 3 and 15, 30, 45. If you draw the graph, then you'll get the straight line. So always, if your two quantities are directly proportional, then graph comes like this. And so if graph comes like this, and then we can conclude that our Ohm's law is experimentally verified. So these things you have to explain. I just make you understand, and in the language also you have to write. So what we'll do is always when experimental verification comes, we always start same type of dialogue. The circuit diagram for experimental verification of Ohm's law is shown in circuit diagram below. You will start always like this. Means this dialogue is universal dialogue. The circuit diagram for the experimental verification of Ohm's law is shown in circuit diagram below. Shown below is shown two times the circuit diagram. So shown below only you can write. Shown below where a resistance R is connected. Resistance R is connected in series with emitter A, rheostat, RHUSTAT, rheostat. Let's give the name RH, rheostat, RH, and battery of EMF E. Okay, and so I explain this, and only one thing is left, that is the voltmeter. A voltmeter is connected across, that is parallel to the resistance R. So this I explain this circuit only, and so it's not the unique way. You can choose your own language, no problem, but you have to explain everything so that there should not be any confusion for the readers, right? Okay, and so then we have to explain how we are going to do experiment. To begin with, we set the value of voltmeter. Value means reading. Let me write this word. A reading of voltmeter to 0 and corresponding value of current measured by ammeter. Ammeter is noted down. The process is repeated. Process is repeated for several values of potential differences and corresponding values of currents. Currents are noted down in observation table. Observation table shown below. And then you have to draw the observation table, simple observation table. You write the observation table, and just you draw the, just like this V and there is I, nothing you have to do. Go on and just leave it blank, so that teacher can know about it, that you are knowing the complete idea of this. And so you show that. And finally, next I am going to draw. I told you, you can pause and you can copy it down. And so finally we draw graph of current versus potential difference, which is a straight line, passing through origin. This verifies the Ohm's law. Moreover, slope of, let me draw the first graph. And so this was the voltage B, and there is a, and so this is the, and so if you find the, you got the nature of this. And if you take the slope, you know how to find the slope. You take any 2 points and get the corresponding value of air. And so this is the change in current, and this is change in voltage. We know that change in voltage by change in current is resistance. And this is the, slope is y. Slope is what? Slope is difference of y coordinate by difference of x coordinate, which is just opposite. So this becomes 1 by m equals to r. So m equals to 1 by r. So moreover, you can tell, moreover, the reciprocal of slope. Reciprocal of slope is going to give you resistance. So reciprocal of slope of for a straight line. Slope of a straight line gives the value of resistance. So there may be sometimes teacher wants to make you fool by telling that how can you find the resistance of a conductor using Ohm's law. And so to find the, there may be the question that describe the experiment to find the resistance of the wire using Ohm's law. Then you have to write up here. But one more thing I want to tell: if you draw the current in the x-axis and voltage in the y-axis, that time not reciprocal, its slope will give you the resistance. So think that before, if that question comes in your entrance examination and find the resistance, then at that time you have to think that current is given in the x-axis or current is given in y-axis. If current is given in the y-axis, then reciprocal of slope is resistance. If current is given in the x-axis, then its slope will give the resistance. So these are the things which we have to discuss in this today's class, and this video also becomes more than 40 minutes, and I always try to make your videos smaller so that it's just like a single class you are attempting. And so today's class also I hope you understand, and if you are understanding, then I always request you should not do any other homework, only one homework, that you share this video to your friends, and you do like, you have already subscribed my channel. If not, then subscribe and hit your notification button also, because I am not going to post these all videos always on the Facebook wall to know you. If you have pressed that notification, then whenever I post, then it will notify you and you can watch that video in your convenient time. But you should be notified, and that's why everyone, I request you, turn on your notification. I am not going to post so many videos, I am just posting those videos which you require. Okay, and so thank you very much for joining today's class.